today, right here, right now. This is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and we're going to discover exactly how right here, right now,
on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
All right, Ron, I can't do it with an Australian accent, but Marcus Kroek has been a business coach since 2005, leveraging his experience in various industries to help small businesses thrive and achieve financial success. As a PFP, that's a Profit First Professional, folks, since 2019, and a Profit First Master since 2021, he specializes in increasing business profitability, eliminating debt, and building long-term financial stability. And I'll tell you, when I go down to ProfitCon every year in Australia, he's the guy who's bringing the energy to the room. No further ado, Marcus, welcome to our show.
Oh my!
Hey, Mike. Thank you. Lovely to be here.
You get asked to MC pretty much every year, I think, right?
Yes. My wife says don't give him a microphone, so I like it. I love standing up the front and getting things going.
And you do. You stand up there and you'll start wiggling and shaking, dancing, just saying funny stuff.
Is Marcus the hype man of you?
He's the hype man. Yep.
Something like that. Well, this year I impersonated Robin Williams to get it going, but that shocked a few people's ears.
Not as Mrs. Doubtfire.
No. Sorry. Good Morning Vietnam.
Okay.
No, sorry. Maybe I'll do that
Mrs.
next year, Ron. I'll think about the Mrs. Doubtfire one for next year.
Oh my God, that would be so funny.
Good morning, ProfitCon, but a little louder.
Yeah, you were fired up, and I know you're in a podcast. You're holding yourself back. I mean, this guy gets fired up. So talking about fired up, we want to talk about your knowledge around Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The topic for today, just for our audience, is really understanding the trajectory your clients are going through and how you're part of their expansion. I don't know if that's the right word, Marcus, into Maslow's hierarchy.
Yes.
So tell us about first.
But also
why
I
this is
think
important.
But I also think it's coming from a employee management perspective, right, Marcus? That we're going to be talking about.
So part of it, what I refer to as start with I, and that's a play on cynics. Start with why. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, well, how about we start with I, which is the team member. When we're employing people, we start with them. But I think, working with business owners, it's the same thing. My start with I there is, what's this all about for you? And if I'm employing somebody or advise people who are employing people, let's start with your team member. A lot of what happens in the world of working in team is all about seeking engagement from the team. How do I get my team to engage in my business? How do I get them to take ownership? Which is great, but I'm saying, well, how are we engaging with our team members? How are we helping them get where they want to go? And we need to start, the process there is start with I. They are the I. So let's start with them. What is it who are you? What are you trying to achieve in life? What are you trying to achieve professionally, which is part of life? It's not something different. So, let's start there and let me help you as an employee get where you want to go, which is the same thing I do with clients, which is, let me help you get where you want to go. And that extends through, the Maslow's hierarchy idea. I've been a fan of Maslow since university, college in the States. When I first learnt about it and then went back and read towards a theory of human motivation, which is very simple. So I don't get too complicated about those things and go, let's work down that path.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying, instead of them telling you what they need, you're saying go to them and ask, what are you actually doing as the business owner to help them versus them telling you what you need? Am I getting that? What they need.
I'm not sure. Right. Yeah. Instead of the business owner saying, this is what I need from you. I mean, you've got to do that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm also saying, if you're a male coming to work with me, I should know that maybe you're married with 3 kids and that you've maybe you're renting a house and you want to own a house one day. Maybe you're saving up for a deposit for a house, and I want to ask, like, how can I, as a business owner, help you get there? Is there something that I can do? And just the fact that I'm aware of that, business is the vehicle that is meant to provide for the rest of our lives. And it provides in many ways. It provides some sort of financial return for doing that. It should provide some joy from being in the business. Professionally and personally, it should provide some joy. It doesn't mean we have marching bands each day, but we should enjoy being there. So I want to, I believe, to get the most out of my employees, but it's not the reason I do it, but to get the most out of them, I've got to help them get where they want to go. And that can be to the extent that they might leave my organization. The last business that I had, we were importing commercial touchscreens, and it was a buy, build, and sell strategy in that business. But one of the guys there, and the time that I was going to be there wasn't really a promotional position. It was a small company. But if he wanted to get into management, so part of that was, well, let us explain to you about the financials and sales management, turn you into a better salesman, train you in that. And that might lead you to going for other jobs. Now, if that's the case, great. I mean, it is really that part of, do you train them and they leave, or do you not train them and they stay? Well, how about if I train them? Now, hopefully you train them well enough and become an employer of choice that they do stay. But if there's a better place for them to go, maybe that's what they need to do. Go for themselves, go to that other place, and you bring someone in. We don't live in a world where we expect people to stay in their job with us for 30 years, do we? So help them roll over.
Before we know where they need to go, do we need to know where they are? Is there an assessment of where they are on this Maslowian journey?
Yes, yeah. And the fundamental part of the Maslow's journey that I'm saying is the self-actualization part, which is you need to become the person that you're meant to become. Maslow said a musician must play music. So if you really, really want to be a musician, but you're out there digging ditches, maybe that's not going to work for you long term. And Maslow broke that down into all sorts of categories. It wasn't just one thing. The musician could see himself or herself as a musician, but also as a parent, also as a business person. You can see yourself in all different sorts of ways. And I'm just helping you get there. And what it's really doing in the business context is saying, I need to help this person as a person who has a personal life. That's where I come from. There's a lot done with professional development, career development, I think, but we need to help them.
That's getting pretty intimate. So should somebody say, hey, I'm looking eventually to buy a house, a business owner might be uncomfortable with saying, okay, great. How can I help you do that? And literally, walk with them, introduce them to a realtor, help them with financing or, getting a mortgage and stuff like that. That's a lot. Could that be seen as intrusive? And do people necessarily want that level of commitment from their boss?
And that's up to the people. I mean, that's part of your exploration, because you've got no right to explore there. It's not a done deal that when you join me in business, you've got to let open everything about yourself and tell me. It's part of, we like to help you get where you want to go. So, if there's things you want to share, and maybe giving examples to people might help them out. It can be as simple as, I had an employee and she was driving from our business, driving about an hour and a half. So I'm 2 hours north of Sydney in New South Wales, Australia. And she was driving to Sydney in her old car to see an uncle who was in hospital. And I said, would you like to take my car? To me, that's part of the same thing, that I'm helping her be a good niece and get there, just doing something nice for an employee. I think you guys work on that from everything I've heard, and what I read in the book as well. So that's just part of it. But it can be things when employees have shared with clients of mine. It's been, I'm saving up for a car. if they want to share that, again, they don't have to, and say, well, okay, how can we help you do that? And they might come up with suggestions. We can take some money from your pay each week and put it into a bank account for you. Would you like us to do that? Or pay off a credit card? That can be some financial things they help with. Flexibility in the workplace. I don't know how strong it is in the US, but in Australia, flexibility in the workplace has certainly been a big thing. So understanding that you have children that are going to daycare, and it would be helpful that you get out, that you leave work in time to pick them up at 4:30 in the afternoon. That's part of it. So it can be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but at least I'm helping them with their lives. That's what I'm saying.
Playing devil's advocate. Okay. No good deed goes unpunished. So say for an example, I hear of an employee whose car broke down or something like that. And, I'm like, yeah, all right, great. I bought her a tire, right? I bought her a tire.
Okay.
Now that's set its precedent. Now I got to buy tires for do I have to buy tires for the next employee that popped a tire on the way to work, hitting a Jersey pothole, and then next minute I know I'm R&S tire, right?
Yeah.
And so
I think you've got to be careful of those things, Ron. I'm not saying that you've got to buy everything in the world for people. It's just help them along the way. So
it
now
sounds like
you've got to be careful of precedents. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Instead of giving them a fish, teach a man to fish. Perhaps when someone loses their tire, tell me, Marcus, this is what I'm hearing from you is say, hey, you're in a financial situation where this random stuff's going to happen. Let's give you tools to manage this going forward. That's what I was hearing. It's more of an education and guidance as opposed to doing for.
It could be. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I also think it's what Marcus
along the way. That's
like it's kind of like the little things we do, or we have done, right? When Amy's coffee maker broke, she was, in the morning, she was, talking about how my coffee maker broke, blah, blah, blah. We went out and had a coffee. We bought her a coffee maker.
Exactly.
By the time she got home, had a coffee maker. That's the kind of stuff you're talking about at a little scale.
Yeah, I hear you saying. Yeah. What do you think, Marcus?
It could be. I had a business with vans, and sometimes the guys would want to use the vans on the weekend. Now, how we stopped the precedent of you can just use the vans was they understood that they needed to ask me about using the vans. So if you want to use the van, that might be all right, but you check in with me first. So that's not a done deal and an expectation. I think what you've got to stop there is entitlement, a word we've become used to over the last few years, where that can crop up and they feel that way. That's not what it's about. It's really being a good person. It comes back down to your basic values. And I'm just saying, as an employer, I like to be a bit more aware of where people are up to so that I can help them on that journey. You need to pick your kid up from school. Great. If I understand that, maybe we can work that into your job. If you want to get better professionally. And I think there's a coaching element comes into that. Again, I'll refer back to your book, All In, Mike, that there's a coaching element comes into that with the regular catch-ups. It gets built into that. So when I do those one-to-ones, I like to have a personal element built in. What are your goals for the year? And that could be knowing that they're planning on holiday. If they don't want to share, again, you've got to let them know this is something that you don't have to share. But if you'd like to let us know about that, I'd love to know what your plans are for the year. Maybe they're going on holiday.
How do you find this? Because I want to roll through some more questions before we run out of time. How does this kind of reciprocate? We do these appropriate, wonderful things. How have you seen that play out reciprocally? Do people appreciate a company more? Do they work harder?
Oh, I got it. Marcus has gotten better holiday gifts from his staff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wish. So my first part there is I don't expect any reciprocity with it.
Yeah.
And that can be that maybe good things come to me down the track because I'm doing good things. However, in saying that, people, well, if like you better, I think they do engage with you more. They're more because they understand that you're not there saying, I'm doing this so that I can get my next bigger boat. It is, I'm doing this for you. And so the reciprocity is they do things for you back for you. And it's not done with a, let me tick the box, let me balance out the equation here. It's done because they actually care for you more and they care for your business more. They really get engaged. It becomes more of that family type situation, maybe with less arguments.
Have you woven this into like your immutable laws or like, is this like, I love to give. I love just sharing and helping and everything. And it's part of our DNA here at Profit First, where we share a lot. I mean, this sounds like something you could really build a culture upon.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think that then spreads out between people who work for you as well. That because it is based on values, really. That these are your personal values, which to me, business values are based on personal values that spread out into your business, into your team, into your clients, into your community. So some of the best people I've worked with make that very evident in their business, and it's quite natural. It's not a forced thing that they do. Yeah, look, I've just had that return so many times over. The lady who took my car down to see her uncle, she'd stay and work late, and for people to understand that in Australia, your start time and finish time are far more set than what I understand from American movies and TV shows of people working crazy hours. We don't do that. We do some sort of, but not like that. So, but she would stay and work late, or if she needed to work through lunch to get something done, she'd just do it. And that wasn't me asking her to do it. That was just how she gave back to the business. The guys in the vans, and I had them just looking after that business eventually, so that they didn't have to have much conversation with me, and I trusted them. And that came a bit through systems, but it also simply came from the way they took ownership of the business, that they did engage back in the business and understood what was going on for me. So,
and I think that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about creating a culture where, it's not reciprocity that is overt. It's, hey, we're all in this together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's quite simple, but for me, I come back to Maslow because that was an earlier learning for me, and it's just something I fell in love with, and I relate a lot of things, back to Maslow and as it goes through. And again, as I was listening to All In, I think, well, you're taking people through Maslow's hierarchy as employees, and there's some other great books on that.
I can't think of any other great books. I think you nailed the only one, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's definitely the best book I've ever read on team. Don't know why people would buy anything else. I don't know why other books exist on the shelves. Mike,
I don't even know why there's
your
even
books,
other authors.
I know.
Every author should just retire,
Yeah. Hey,
well,
Marcus,
I'll give you a plug there.
I'm the clock keeper.
Yeah.
What was that?
I'll give you a plug there because I think people can buy series of books from people like you and just go, well, if I just concentrated on doing them properly, I don't actually need terribly much else,
Yeah.
If you put the plan in place, if you put Profit First in place, if you, well, even for the kids, sorry, I forget the name of the kids one, Mike.
Money
Bunnies, but who's counting?
Money Bunnies. But if you put all those in place, there's actually enough information there, think different, all of those, to run your business on.
Thank you.
So, well,
playbooks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny with Profit First, there's countless people who struggle. It's because they feel that they need to know more before they start. And the reality is you have to start to know more. Marcus, before we let you go, where can our listeners perhaps dig into this topic deeper with you, learn from you, or use your services maybe to give them guidance on the implementation of Maslow's hierarchy?
The easiest thing is just go to my website, which is my name, Marcus Kroek, KROEK.com. Get in contact with me from there.
That's amazing.
Good. Not too many people in the world with that name, although there is another one, I believe.
Yeah, I think there is. We will put this in the show notes. Marcus, thank you for these insights. I appreciate, Ron. We both appreciate you tremendously.
Yeah, thank you, Marcus. Great job.
Thank you. Lovely to be here with you.
Yeah, tell Katie and the rest of the folks we said hello.
I shall.
Yeah. Thanks for doing for the PFP community. All right, Ron and I are going to recap what we learned from Marcus. And I got a GMAP Now task. Ron's got some insider access. Well, I'll throw it to you first. What was your fave from Marcus?
It boils down to being a human being, like a good human being, almost where the new superpower is empathy, being empathetic to, your employees' needs, wants, wishes, because we are all in this together and we are all building something for a common goal. So, having a great understanding of, what people's aspirations are, what makes them tick, what they're looking forward to, what their desired future is definitely something that we have woven into the framework here. And it's great to create a culture.
Marcus said a line that I love, and maybe I'm going to paraphrase this incorrectly, but he said, I need to help this person be a person in their personal lives. What a great statement to make as a leader for the organization. I also liked that he said business is a vehicle to provide, sure, it's a income, but he said to provide joy, maybe a platform for expression. And he just said there's so much more that their job and this business provides. And I think that awareness allows us to be of great service to them.
It's a higher level thinking, if you will, but it seems so simple, yet in the course of running businesses, we don't take that extra level and go deeper. And
yeah, you're right.
We should.
Tunnel vision kicks in.
Yeah.
Ron, you got that crazy weapon of yours, the Obi-Wan lightsaber. Marcus is still watching live and he's a little nervous because that's coming all the way to Australia, down under. Ron, this is something you're doing here at our organization. Folks can do there. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, we're pulling a page out of Marcus's playbook here. One of the things that we literally just did, we had our quarterly wrap up, and we went around the office and we discussed, hey, we're interested in knowing what are some of your goals? What are some of your life goals? What are some of your personal goals? And of course, if you feel like sharing, great. So what we did, everybody who felt comfortable said 3 of their goals: personal, financial, business wise. And I got a list of it, and we're talking about them. We're talking about them during our morning huddle, which is a great way to also, get a check-in, because that's what Marcus is also doing, about a check-in, personal updates. Anybody want to share a personal update is a great way to do something on a huddle. That way you do take the temperature of the team.
Nice. That's so nice, Ron. I love that. What an implementation, what Marcus is sharing. I also got one more thing for you. It's a GMAP Now task. So one task, if you do it, you will see results. Sadly, late and great John Ruhlin shared that it's the thoughtful thought that matters. I don't know if you know this. He's got his final contribution to our society, and it's Beyond Giftology. That's the name of his brand new book he was finishing right before he passed away. His team saw it through to the finish line. It's available today. Make sure you get your copy, Beyond Giftology by John Ruhlin, a former colleague and friend of the greatest depths. And I miss him so much.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
All right, Ron, take us home.
All right, guys. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, listeners. Don't forget to review and subscribe to Grow My Accounting Practice podcast. That way you never miss an episode. You can also find us on YouTube, but also we want to talk to you. You probably considered or thought about being a Profit First professional like Marcus did back in the day. Why don't you go to profitfirstprofessionals.com, hit to apply, fill out the form, and let's have a conversation. Let's see if this is a fit for you. Maybe you're interested in CFO services. Maybe you're interested in standing out from the competition, or maybe you're just interested in making more money and growing a better company. Give us a call and let's see what we can do.
We'll see you guys later.
All right, guys. Take care, everyone. Thanks.